Bhakti-vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Skam Sanstapakacharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jayam Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtottara Sri Srimad Srila Bhakti-siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Naharib Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Yamuna Mai ki jai. Tulasi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashnaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti-vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Sarasvati Deve Gauravani Vacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Shatyarisha Tarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, chapter 87, text 42, translation purport by the disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti-vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Ityetad Brahmana Putra Ashrutyatmanushāsanam Sanandam Matanachu Siddhagyatvat Manogatim Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Ityetad Brahmana Putra Ashrutyatmanushāsanam Sanandam Matanarchu Siddhagyatvat Manogatim Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Ityetad Brahmana Putra Ashrutyatmanushāsanam Sanandam Matanarchu Siddhagyatvat Manogatim Sri Bhagavan Uvacha The Supreme Lord Sri Narayana Rishi said, Iti thus, Etat this, Brahmana of Brahma, Putra the sons, Ashrutya having heard, Atma about the self, Anushāsanam instruction, Sanandanam the sage Sanandana, Ata then, Anarchu they worshipped, Siddha perfectly satisfied,
съвършено удовлетворение.
Gyatva, understanding.
Разбирайки.
Atmanaha, their own.
Собственото си.
Gatim, ultimate destination.
Крайно местоназначение.
The Supreme Lord Sri Narayana Rishi said, having heard these instructions about the Supreme Self, the personality of Godhead, the sons of Brahman now understood their final destination. They felt perfectly satisfied and honored Sanandana with their worship.
Върховният Бог Шри Нараяна Риши каза: така чули тези изявления за върховното себе, божествената личност, синовете на Брахма сега разбраха своето крайно местоназначение. Те се почувстваха съвършено удовлетворени и почетоха Санандана с уважение.
Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that Atmanushasanam can be understood both as instructions given to benefit the Jiva souls and as instructions about the living entity's relationship with the foundation of all existence.
Шрила Джива Госвами обяснява, че Анушасана може да бъде разбрано и като наставление, дадени за ползата на джива душите, и като наставление за взаимоотношенията на живото същество с основата на цялото съществуване.
Similarly, Atmanogatim means both the destination of the Jiva soul and the means of reaching the Supreme Soul.
Също Атманогатим означава и целта на живото същество и средството за постигането на върховната душа.
By hearing the 28 prayers of the personified Vedas, which comprise the elucidation of the Brahmopanishad spoken at the beginning of this chapter, the sages assembled in Brahmaloka made great progress toward their goal of pure love of God.
Като чули 28-те молитви на олицетворените веди, които съставят обяснението на Брахмопанишад, споменат в началото на тази глава, мъдреците събрали се на Брахмалока, напреднали към тяхната цел за чисто любов към Бога.
Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Ityetad Brahmanak Putra Ashrutyatmanushasanam Sanandanam Atanarchu Siddha Gyatvatmano Gatim. The Supreme Lord, Sri Narayana Rishi said, having heard these instructions about the Supreme Self, the personality of Godhead, the sons of Brahma now understood their final destination. They felt perfectly satisfied and honored Sanandana with their worship.
Върховният Бог Шри Нараяна Риши каза: след като чуха тези наставления за върховното себе, божествената личност, синовете на Брахма сега разбрали тяхното крайно местоназначение. Те се почувстваха напълно удовлетворени и почетоха Санандана с обожанието си.
So in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, which actually starts in the second canto, when Maharaj Parikshit asked his first question, then Shukadeva Goswami gave an answer.
Като започва Шримад Бхагаватам, което става втора песен, Махарадж Парикшит задава въпрос на Шукадева Госвами.
So the first question was, what is the duty of somebody who is at the verge of death?
Първият въпрос бил: какъв е дълга на човека пред прага на смъртта?
Let's see the... So, and then Shukadeva Goswami, this is the first verse, in the first canto, he answers. And he says, my dear king, your question is glorious because it is very beneficial to all kinds of people. The answer to this question is the prime subject matter for hearing, and it is approved by all transcendentalists.
Шукадева Госвами започва отгоре в първи текст от това песен, като казва: скъпи царю, твой въпрос е славен, защото е от голяма полза за всякакви хора. Отговорът на този въпрос е главната тема за слушането и одобрен от всички трансценденталисти.
So here's something similar being expressed, that when the sons of Brahma heard the instructions about the Supreme Self, they understood their final destination.
И в днешния текст е обяснено нещо подобно, че когато чули отговорите, синовете на Брахма разбрали за тяхното крайно назначение.
Atmano Gatim. Gati is the goal, and Atmano, well, it refers to the soul.
Гати значи цел, Атмано душа.
Like Svarta Gatim. Natevidu Svarta Gatim. Vishnu's. People don't know actually what is the real Gati, the real goal. Well, Sva-Arta Gatim actually means the goal of one's own interest. Everybody has some interest. I guess so. Maybe more than one interest. No? What is your interest? People sometimes ask. And they mean, what is your hobby? What do you do when you can do what you like? You don't have to do what you don't like to do, but you are obliged to do. And very few people have the great fortune, maybe so-called fortune, when they, for their livelihood, they can do what they actually like to do.
Малко са тези, които могат да правят, за да изкарат прехрана с това, което всъщност им харесва.
Like, he can do what he likes to do.
Той може да прави това, което му харесва.
Be the clown on the stage. And in real life, so you know, it's great. You can just be yourself. And he likes it. So, and others like it, and they clap even. But there's not many people who can do that. No? How many people you know they have to work what they really don't like? And they may be very envious in one sense. They may not say it. You know, you are very lucky. You know, you can do what you like to do, and you get money for it. You know, I mean that's amazing. Yeah, therefore everybody would like to be an artist, like a singer or an actor or something like that, because you can do what you like and you get money for it. And sometimes these are fabulous amounts of money. Or what to speak of being a football player. Then you can really make big money. But only a few. Like Messi. Big scandal. You may have heard about it. Just came out a week ago or something like that. Somebody leaked the contract with Barcelona. In 3 years, 562 million euros. That's just the pay. And then there's the advertisements and the this and the that, and who knows at the end of how many millions he earns. Now, is this the goal, the Gati? Well, for most people, yes, this is the goal. Huh? You know, you play the guitar and you get a lot of money, and the women just are waiting at your door. This is real life. Huh? And and you don't have to pay for it. It's for free. So this is the goal. Huh? Life is great. You know, if you can get that, then, I mean, what else do you want? But Bhagavatam, Natevidu, they don't know what is the real goal. So here, this is explained that yes, they heard instructions about the Supreme Self, and then they understood what is the final destination, the Atmano Gatim. And therefore, as it says in the purport, Srila Jiva Goswami explains that Atmanushasanam means instructions given to benefit the Jiva souls, and also means instructions about the living entity's relationship with the foundation of all existence, which is basically is the same.
са за ползата на душите и които показват каква е връзката или взаимоотношенията на всички души с основата на всичко, което в крайна сметка е едно и също.
Yeah, the relationship with the foundation of all existence, that means one's relationship with the Supreme Lord.
Взаимоотношения с основата на всичко съществуващо е връзката на душата с Бога.
And that's the real benefit.
И това е истинската полза.
So if one understands that, then well, basically, as Shukadeva Goswami says, this is glorious because it's beneficial for everybody. So therefore, when all those who were assembled there, they were hearing these prayers by the personified Vedas, now they made progress toward their goal. The pure love of God. That is the highest goal that one can achieve. The paradharma, savai pungsam parodharmo, that Bhagavatam explains in the first canto that there are so many dharmas, but the paradharma is to develop love of God. So, any comments about this? We can go on. Yes.
So this is explaining the purport about the Atmano Gatim. It's equal to the Abhidya Prayojana?
Yeah, of course. It's the Gati. That's the ultimate goal. It could be Gatim, Gati is the Sangsidim Paramam Gatim. It's the where you want to go. So, as I said, in the material world, there's how many goals? I mean, as many goals as the mind can imagine. But they're all temporary. So you achieve the goal, but generally, because it's the material world, chanchala, ashashvatam, it doesn't stay. Like we mentioned Messi. Or we can mention Maradona, as we did the other day. In his time, which was like, 40 years almost ago. 30 years ago. He gained or earned fabulous amounts of money by just, pushing a ball across some field. I mean, if you think about it, it's just complete madness. I mean, 22 adults running after a ball and sometimes hitting each other and kicking each other and, ending up in the hospital. I mean, you how you say, you risk your health, definitely. One of the biggest things now they discovered, because sometimes they clash when they try to hit the ball with want to hit the ball with the head, and then they hit the head with the head, and then they have all kinds of problems later on, because it's not very good to hit the head anywhere. So in that case, he also gained fabulous amounts of money and ended up completely degraded and miserable. And despite having all these millions, just died miserably in a hospital at a relatively young age. So is that the goal? No, the goal is you have to be very sober and continue until you're 100, like some other actors can achieve, like Kirk Douglas. You are Spartacus 60 years ago, and then you're in your wheelchair at 100, and you have millions also. And is that the goal? So you probably will not come to the level of Kirk Douglas, but you will. Somebody like him would. It's not necessary. I'm satisfied with I get half the money. Or even a quarter. It's all right.
Thank you for the blessings.
I can have my mansion in Bel Air, Los Angeles. Exclusive neighborhood. And then you get one of these also crazy houses they build. I mean, this is why they say pramata. People become mad with, 2,000 square meters, 10 bathrooms, and 3 kitchens, and Olympic swimming pool, and a garage full of all kinds of cars, and they don't know how to spend it. You make a staircase of stainless steel that costs $1 million. Well, why not? And get as a sculpture an oversized Leica photo apparat. Yeah. I mean, it can show the picture is there. You can look it up. It's just it costs I don't know how many millions of dollars. It's just for exhibition. I mean, oversized, this big size. So what for? And then you just die like a dog, and the camera stays there. No, this was recently said by, I told you, by the daughter of the president of, I think it was Santander, who died. One of the big banks in the world, actually. Biggest Spanish bank. Super multi-millionaire. And the daughter said, he died in the hospital, like it's described in the Bhagavatam, like this, and the money stayed here.
Тя каза за баща си, който е бил президент на една от най-големите световни банки. Той умря в болницата, както е описано. Задавайки си, парите останаха тук.
So his goal was, yes, I become the most powerful and most, richest person in the country. So is that the goal? And then you just leave your body coughing and almost not getting any more air, and the money stays there.
И той има целта да стане най-богатият приятел в страната си, но накрая умира в такова окаяно положение и парите му стават. Това е целта.
So therefore here, Prabhupada says in the second canto, in the first verse, that simply by such questioning and hearing one can achieve the highest perfectional stage of life.
Това ще Прабхупад казва в коментара, че просто с такова слушане човек може да постигне край на цял живот.
Because a little later, questions and answers about Krishna elevate one to that transcendental position.
Защото Въпросът и отговорите за Кришна издигат човек до трансценденталната позиция.
So that what it's, I mean, for the spiritualist, that's what it's all about. There's no point in any goal in the material world, and because it's all you're going to go and it's going to stay here, whatever you may achieve.
Защото за един трансценденталист няма никакви цели в материалния свят, които да го привличат. Всичко, което може да се постигне тук, остава.
Whereas here in this verse of today, it says that they understood the final destination. So that means that's the goal. Once you achieve that, then you don't lose it. You're not going on somewhere else and it stays. You stay where the goal is, and that's it. Final goal.
Изпетъл се говори за крайната цел. Когато я постигнеш, няма връщане. Няма губиш, не отиваш на друго място и това да остане с теб.
Yeah, all other destinations are temporary. Then you have another destination. Then they have another destination.
Всички други цели или места, където може да сме, са временни и трябва да ги напуснем да отидем на друго място.
So therefore, they felt perfectly satisfied, and out of gratitude, they honored Sanandana with their worship.
И затова те си почувствали напълно удовлетворение от благодарност, обожавали Санандана.
So, anything else?
Нещо друго. Right, I'm wondering how can we explain to the people today that their goals are useless?
What is the problem to explain that?
Because of the absorption, it's so difficult to take the attention to explain it like that. I agree, that's the perfect explanation, but to really make them hear.
No, you can't. They just have to suffer.
Просто как да обясним на хората, че целите са безмислени и да казват трудно е, те просто трябва да страдат.
I mean, as they say, it's a very practical example. You can take the horse to the water, but you cannot make the horse, you cannot force it to drink.
Както се казва, може да заведеш коня до реката, но не може да го накараш да пие.
So you can explain perfectly well with all these, and there's just how many examples I gave. I mean, not even a handful, less than a handful.
Може да направим много ясно обяснение, да дадем и с много примери, както дадах сега.
I mean, the point is that even just the news, whether now it's not anymore, not so much printed, whether it's on the TV or on the internet, or yes, you still get a magazine and you open it up. What is in the news?
Просто да гледаме в новините, дали ще е на телевизията или електронен вариант или в някакво списание, какво е?
Is there any good news?
Добри новини.
Good news is not news. You don't sell good news. It doesn't make money.
Новини не се продават.
It has to be catastrophes. That's the German word. You got it from us. But it's universal. Catastrophe. Una catastrofa. So that's all continuously the world, what's happening, it's 24-hour news, right? Because the sun doesn't set, actually. It just goes, there's always day somewhere. So it's 24/7, 365, right? And it's just one bad news after another. And we don't get all the bad news. It's impossible. Then you would have to get all the newspapers from every country and every city. The local news. Who was shot, who had an accident, and who committed suicide, and who was ruined, and this and that, and domestic violence, and there's no end to the virus now. Who got the virus? What the latest one? Who got and who died? So pashanyapi na pashyati. That you see something and you don't see it. That's a few verses on from here. I think it's number 4, huh? Yes. Dehapatya kalatradishu atma sanyeshwa asvatsvapi tesham pramato. Again, we have pramato. Mad. Nidanam pashyanapi na pashyati. So, I mean, this is a universal truth spoken, Bhagavatam 5,000 years ago, let's say, but it's something that's coming from before. Huh?
И това е една универсална истина. За говорим при 5000 години, но тук става дума за древно знание.
So therefore it says, persons devoid of Atma Tattva, those who have no knowledge of the real self, they do not even inquire into the problems of life.
В четвъртия текст, че хората, които са лишени от знание за душата, Атма Татва, те дори не питат и не се задават въпроси за проблемите на живота.
And here you have the answer to the question, why is that? Because they're very much attached to, well, in this case, it's Deha, Apatya, Kalatra, Adishu, which means, anything. Griya Kshetra Vitapa Sutta, it's the whole thing. It's your own body, it's your wife's or husband's body, and the children's body, and the family members, and the friends, and the home, and the land, and the car, and the dog, and the hog, and the... What else? Anything else you can imagine. And the big Leica camera you have in your living room, and you probably, you're there sitting, embracing. People are like that.
Причината е твърде голямата привързаност към ненадежните войни, ги нарича Бхагаватам, като цялото, съпругата или съпруга, децата, приятелите, къщата, колата, кучето, прасето и тази лайка камера около, така те прегръщаш.
Or you embrace the whiskey bottle, something.
Прегръщаш бутилката с уиски, нещо прегръщаш.
So there's a very strong attachment, and then, although sufficiently experienced, you see the news every day. It's inevitable. A plane crashed, and this happened, and that happened. It's always bad news. So, but still, you do not see your inevitable destruction.
И макар да има достатъчно опит, както казахме, новините са само лоши и виждаш постоянно какво се случва, не виждаш предстоящото ти унищожение.
So, in the purport, first thing Prabhupada says, the material world is called the world of death. Martya Loka. So then every living being, beginning from Brahma, start at the top, down to, the germ, whose duration of life is some thousands of millions of years, down to the germ, who lives for a few seconds, everybody is struggling for existence.
Всички се борят за съществуване от началото на Брахма, който живее милиони години, до дори малките микроби, които живеят няколко секунди.
Now, is that exaggerated? Is that false? No, it's a fact. No, it's a fact.
Преувеличаване или е нещо неистина? Не, факт е.
No, you observe around you and maybe yourself, your life, it's always a struggle.
Виждаш всички около тебе и ти самия се бориш.
First struggle against hunger. You have to eat every day. You have to drink something. Then heat, cold, some pain here, some pain there, toothache, headache, and then, a boil appears and your neighbor is always looking at you like this. You can't sleep at night, like in Vrindavan, because the dogs are just barking all night long. This was amazing. You cannot imagine. It's the summertime, that means everything is open, otherwise how can you sleep?
Лятото е, трябва да отвориш всичко, иначе няма как да спиш.
And they sleep during the day.
И
because it's too hot. And they become active at night. And there's different gangs. It's really like street gangs. You know? There's packs of dogs in that quarter, and 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 that quarter. All around where we were, there's different gangs of dogs. Then two gangs meet. And war breaks out. And then you see them, you know, one dog up on the wall, and the other dog down there, and then they just scream at each other. You know? Unbelievable. And you think maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. No, 1 hour, 2 hours. I mean, I couldn't believe it. You know? 2 hours of the clock without stopping, they were barking. Of course, then you're exhausted and you go to sleep for the rest of the day. So there's struggle for existence amongst the dogs, and you struggling, you try. But what you're not going to do? You're going to go down and no, impossible. They may go away, then the others are coming. So, Pashyanapi, we see this, apashyati, but we don't really understand what it means. So therefore, Prabhupada says here, therefore this life is a sort of fight with material nature, and it is. Now we are fighting against, a virus so small, you can't see it. According to science. I don't know. The size is like, what? Less than 100 nanometers. That's really small. It's like, and apparently it's everywhere. I don't know, it's a mystic power. Huh? It starts somewhere in some place about 1 year ago, practically speaking, practically a year ago. And then it just, we cannot even imagine. Then sometimes they have these interactive maps where they show how it was growing everywhere, and then the whole world was full. The color was a color going everywhere. And we're struggling. Record in 1 year to have vaccines, it's like impossible to even imagine. It normally takes 10 years or 15 years. But we did it. And here we are now, and trying to keep up. And someone already said, like in Germany, one of the top virologists said, the fight is lost. It's too late. All the hope we had, but this is of course one opinion. So I don't worry, Anyway, so definitely it's a struggle, without any doubt. And it doesn't look like we are winning so far. Nowhere. And everybody's hoping that finally our soldiers, we will win the fight. And maybe sometime, maybe it takes another 1 or 2 years. Then, material nature's like that. Nothing is eternal, shashvatam. Fortunately, it's all temporary. So then some circumstance, and it will just go away. And then something else will come. Worse than the first one. Twice as dangerous. Like already the varieties that are appearing are spreading faster. Because the virus is intelligent. They also want to live. As normal. And then so they change a little bit their spikes and become more effective in transmission. And we are trying to have a vaccine that's more powerful and will stop it. So, struggle for existence. But a living being is should actually be able to understand this.
Но живото
I mean, human form of life.
в човешка форма трябва да може да осъзнае.
Animals, we can also observe, they don't understand anything.
Животните, както виждаме, няма как да разберат.
Therefore, they're called dumb.
Затова се наричат
So, I mean, look at these asses. Therefore, they're called, really, ass is a symbol of stupidity. They can just stand there, don't do anything. I mean, don't even eat sometimes. They just. I mean, you know, if somebody of us would do something practical, we would say, no? A human being would be like that, just. Then they say, yeah, he's like an ass. So they will not be, as Prabhupada says, when there's a slaughterhouse and you have all these unfortunate, you know, poor, whatever it may be, assembled, and one has to go in and cut the throat, the blood is flowing out, and everybody is there, like sheep. Sheep are good, there's another stupid animal. You are like a sheep, you know. So there may be this whole flock of sheep, and one after the other goes in, and they kill it, and the blood is flowing, and the sheep will just stand there and look, and they don't get it. They will even continue to eat the grass that's just in front of the slaughterhouse. But no, they will not make a plan. They will not even run away. So that's the difference. If you have a group of human beings where this is happening, they'll make some plan. How can we get out of here before it's our turn? Isn't it? Should be. That's the difference. But as it says here, you know, we are competent. We should be competent enough as human beings to understand the situation. But pashyanapi na pashyati. We see it and we don't get it.
Това е, което се казва тук. Трябва да имаме тая компетентност като хора да разберем, но това е стиха. Виждаме го и не го разберем.
And the reason is attachment.
И привързаността.
And pramata, you lose your intelligence. By too much attachment for material things, one's intelligence is lost. And we observe this also. You know, people who know, as we said, sometimes they take risks, like robbing a place where you know I could be shot anytime, or other very dangerous occupations. And yeah, I'll take the risk, you know, because I want. Yeah, I mean, it's such a crazy.
After the Spanish one in Bulgaria also just 2 days ago, same place.
You know, and they know. Race drivers. It's another completely ridiculous occupation, huh? But you get a lot of money and fame, and the kick of the how you say the. Yeah, well, something happens, of course. Yeah, but you know, I'm really risking my life here. And so many have died already. We have seen it. It's like the slaughterhouse bill. You know, you see them going in, and but maybe not me. I'll be the lucky one, survives. And then, you know, it happens like Michael Schumacher. Nothing happens during the race, but then you go skiing, and it happens there. And because, he's in bad shape, there was no news. It's completely hermetically, the family, there's no news about him since years. Nobody knows how he is. That means he's not good. That means he's still... Anyway, but despite that, his son is now going to racing. Of course, why not? I'll be more lucky than my father. Pramata. I mean, this climbing business is like... And sometimes they do this, really, not even one of those high ones, but the Capitan is a very famous one in America. It's like almost, practically vertical, and you hang there, but in 2 or 3 or 4 hours you can do it. But it's so demanding that, any small mistake you make, and there's no security, you actually fall and that's it. And of course some do. And those who are very expert, they make it and they become famous.
И това катерене, скално дело, определен скален път, почти отвесено в Америка и там нямаш никакви осигуровки, разбира се, и много трудно и само една малка грешка и политаш долу и край. Свършено и много са умрели, но други успяват да стават известни.
They do it also in the towns. It's called Yamakashi, when they jump from building to building.
So many things. We are, or whatever. They invent some crazy thing, which is really crazy. So that means, the goal of life is to become famous, for example. And you do anything to get there. And then what? You're famous, and then what? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta compared it to the, what is it, stool or urine of the hog? Stool, hog stool. Yeah.
Той сравнява това славата с изпражнение на столи.
And especially hog stool is really obnoxious. You have experienced hog stool? Yes. Because sometimes, when you drive in the summer, and there's some farm like this nearby, and the fragrance, the breeze transmits the fake fragrance all over the countryside. You really put on the accelerator to go 200 through it as fast as possible. It's like really intolerable. So, and that's what he compares fame to that. So, but fame is like, who doesn't want to be famous? Not even chicken stool, it's hog stool. Chicken stool is also bad, but hog stool is the worst. Not like you just see the difference. Cow dung. Cow dung is, it's used for bathing the deity, or for cleaning something that's completely contaminated. Even the kitchen, you can clean everything with cow dung and it becomes completely pure. But hog stool is something else. Okay, so we did it. So simple answer to the question. No? Very, very much attachment, and although everything is very obvious, you don't want to see it. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ranchara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Sisi Pandita Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki